Alright, we're gonna call this meeting to order at 3:30. And Councilman Garvin, would you mind giving us the blessing?
Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love and your watch care. We ask now that you would guide us as we make decisions for the Cherokee Nation. We thank you for our health and our well-being. We thank you for each one that's here this afternoon. We pray for our chairman and each member of the committee. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Look. Roll call today.
David Walkenstick.
Tony.
Don Garvin.
Honey?
Joel England.
Here.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here. Itchy balls.
Harley Bozard.
Here.
Joe Berg.
Tony.
Sean Crittenden.
Tony.
Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan. Dick Lay.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Denise Taylor.
Here.
David Thornton. Victoria Vespas.
Honey.
Ryan Warner.
Tony.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you, Shelley. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of March 6, 14, 2016? So moved. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Down to reports. We got Talking Leaves Job Corps, Miss Diane Kelly. Diane, it's always good to see you, by the way.
Well, thank you, Mr. Walkingstick. Appreciate it. Talking Leaves Job Corps is still ranked up in the high numbers. Jay told me this morning in our staff meeting that they're going to probably come out about 53rd nationally as of next month. Those numbers fluctuate up and down. They're not having a summer break, so they're going to keep continuing to recruit, and they're going to just keep going through the summer months. The only break they'll have will be during Christmas. And our new project officer, Mr. Bennett, notified us that he will be visiting us probably within the next couple of weeks prior to AROCA, and he'll look at our numbers and look at all of our stats and what we're doing, and he may recommend that they not come and do one this year. You never know. We're hoping that's the case. Their academic stats and their outreach stats are way up there in the top markings throughout the nation. There's 127 job corps, and they're up in the top 30. And they're puffing air on placement, but that means that they're about halfway there. Their placement area is not as good as it could be, but overall their performance ratings are really good. We had a safety fair last week. I think it was in your report. There was a picture with the proclamation signing and a copy of the actual flyer that went out. Had a really good turnout. It was a beautiful day. Speaker Byrd was there to read the proclamation that was signed by the chief, and copies of the proclamation were given to all of the entities there. Brian Hale flew in on a helicopter, and he was really the hit of the whole thing. I mean, everybody went down there where the helicopter was, and the marshals were there, Jeremy Fisher, Shannon Buell, all of his staff. We had all the fire programs there. There was some of the local fire trucks and fire programs here from the area. We were cooking hot dogs and giving out sodas and water, and Smokey the Bear. We had two Smokey the Bears. We had a 16-foot inflated Smokey the Bear, and then we had a small one that was roaming around having pictures made. And I think Risk Management was the hit with the young kids because they were out there busting watermelons with those hard hats on. And I was really surprised you could put a hard hat on a watermelon and it won't bust. But anyway, Shannon and I talked about this for next year, that we need to do this again and just keep adding to it next year. So I encourage you to come out next year because it was a really nice day. We have customized training going on right now. Culinary at the Hard Rock is in its last week. Heavy equipment is ongoing, welding, electrical. And the truck driving school that was at Salisaw had moved to Muskogee, and they're in the process of moving to Adair County. In the next week or two, we'll be recruiting 10 slots for that. Then they'll be going up to Delaware County to Little Kansas, and Tony Corridy with Northeast area and the Afton group and Claremore group. Tony says that they're in the process of contracting to get them up in those other counties. So that truck driver training program that was at Drumright is moving around into the different counties. Last month, you received notepads from our business tech class. Hope you enjoyed those. And Stephanie wanted me to report that the HiSET GED testing, we now have that, and we're implementing that, and it's a paper test. It's not on the computer, so we've got a lot of people that are coming back to take that GED because of the HiSET, and so we have started rolling that out. We're also going to be hiring another GED and testing technician. They've been interviewing for a person, and that person will work out of our prior office and work for those northern counties up there. I think you've got the report. We showed you pictures, and we've got a flyer in there about the youth leadership fairs. We've got two, one coming up tomorrow and prior, and the last one will be here at the complex. We haven't had as good a turnout, but you can also go back to the counselor that works that area, and she's got a lot of applications, or they've got a lot of applications. So that tells me that maybe they've worked the area better than what we thought. But we wanted to do this as an extra precaution to make sure that if there was families that didn't have time to come in during the workday, we gave them an opportunity to come in the evenings to get their kids signed up for summer youth. We've also got some success stories in there. In fact, I've met with both of these two participants that are in there. And Jeff says that we're going to keep those success stories coming. So, do you all have any questions?
Councilman Buzzer?
Diane, I went to the Five Tribes meeting this last week in Tulsa. And I was in a presentation, and we talked a little about Job Corps. But what we were talking about is, we got into a discussion about human trafficking, drug use and stuff like that. And we never hear anything about our Job Corps. Are we good over here? Have we had any investigations of the marshals? And that
We have gone.
shocked me after I heard it, but I haven't heard anything.
There is a lot of training that people don't realize that those residential people, the education staff over there have to go through. A lot of them have to get their CPR license. They have to be safety oriented so that if there's a kid that's choking or if there's something that happens, they've got to be able to react to it. Everybody over at Job Corps has gone through lockdown, and they've gone through that, I can't think of what it's called. It's a training program where the marshals come in and train you on what to do. If it's called something shooter.
Active shooter.
Active shooter, yes. They had to go through training. It's required by the Department of Labor. Department of Labor will send out an email, and they'll tell us that we have to do this within a certain length of time. So they've actually gone through active shooter. If you go over there to the campus right now, and you can ask George Roach, he was kind of taken by surprise. He went over there and thought he was going to go down the halls, and he couldn't get in. And George called me, and he said, Dinah, I can't get down the halls. I said, well, you got to check in out there at the front. He said, yeah, but I'm one of the directors. And I said, it doesn't matter. I said, they have got to have you sign in. It doesn't matter who's over there. It's a requirement that you sign in, and they give you a badge. I even have to sign in when I go over there because I'm not over there 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Well, the presentation they made, they said a lot of these human traffickers will put a person in Job Corps to start recruiting within Job Corps. So I guess we have training for that too, don't we?
Yes, yes. A lot of that goes on in a lot of the metropolitan areas.
That's what I think.
And in the rural setting, a lot of the kids that come in here, a lot of the kids we know the families. There's a few that come in that we don't know, but we do most around here. We know most of the families that we're working with.
That's good to hear.
But I appreciate you bringing that up, and I will make sure that that is happening. Are there any other questions?
Diane, good report.
Thank you.
Praying for you and your family.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we got Mr. Ron Etheridge, Executive Director report.
We have lots going on, and probably too numerous to even start to mention, so just have at it. You have our report. If you have any questions, be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions? Camp Cherokee, applications.
Applications are online, camp.cherokee.org. It's an online application. They'll just create a password and a login and apply all of their students.
Okay. Yes, Councilman Garvin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ron, came by to visit with you earlier, but this situation is, I had an individual call from the prison department, and he's wondering about our Cherokees not being helped in education. I think we're the only tribe that doesn't help the Cherokees, the people in the schooling, and what he was wanting to do is try to get them help on online to take courses and have some training so that they'll be able to survive when they get out of prison.
Well,
He said it really, and I believe it, really makes a difference when they start learning and start getting this education. And it would be fantastic for these people to do that. And
okay.
I'm surprised that we're not already into that business, but he said we're the only one in 5 tribes that don't do that. I don't know anybody, and I don't have any family involved, but I tried to postpone him, but he said I need to follow up on that, and it would really help a lot of Cherokees. Would you like to comment on that?
Yes, and I'm sorry I missed you, by the way. I was up seeing Mr. Qualls at that time, and anyway, I called Jennifer, and we both had a meeting at 2 o'clock before this meeting, and so I called her right before that, and she said she had been visiting with you, and she's made me aware of the fact that in the past, she said that we have partook in helping educate or those incarcerated. And I don't know, it's just here because of the numbers and how they've increased so rapidly, I was told that we've kind of stopped that just a little bit. Now, I think you got a very good point. I really do. And I think it's something that needs to be researched. And we'll take it from there, and just of course we're off in the middle of right now. Well, technically we're not, because we're taking applications for next fall. So I will get an opportunity to visit with Warren Education and kind of look at this and see if we can go ahead and maybe have some of those scholarships that's designated for that, or just include them just like anyone else. So it's something we need to look into. I agree with you.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily have to be a full scholarship, of course, or room and board, just online, whatever that would be, and I don't think it'd be too expensive. I know that there's quite a few Cherokees involved, and if we can help a Cherokee, it'd be great. Okay, appreciate that, and check it out and get back with us.
We will. Sure will.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions? Yes, Councilman Buzzer?
Yeah. Jennifer, I know we have, you go to different places to have these TOS meetings with superintendents of schools, but do you get much participation from school superintendents?
Okay, I know more than came on board and observed one that we had here, that we had a handful of superintendents show up. And I went to Dr. Sly and I said, hey, I'm gonna watch one more and see what happens, and then I'm gonna give you a recommendation. And she said, okay. And so we went ahead and met with the second one. And again, we hosted, and a handful again. And I told her, I said, Dr. Sly, what happens, what you've got is they meet too frequent anyway. I mean, not necessarily too frequent, but you take Cherokee County, and sometimes they will involve some other counties. They will come in, they'll meet once a month. Adair County does the same thing. They come in and they meet once a month, and I know your other respective counties throughout the 14-county area basically do the same thing, because when I was superintendent, that's what we did. And then they have the COSA meetings over at Muskogee. So that's the second time they meet. And so we were going to be the third time. And so all these problems and things that they try to solve, that's why you have only a handful show up for ours. So here's what we've done. Here's what we've done. And we had the meeting at the racetrack in Claremore, brought in the state superintendent, and I was proud of Gloria for the panel that she brought in there. We went the next week down to Salisaw, and we brought in a representative or two, and also some very good speakers on the vocational area, along with the education area. And got some guys from the State Department of Education on finance, and those were very well attended. And so that is the direction that I think that we want to go. Possibly even consider one in the fall and one in the spring. One up in the northern counties, and one down in the southern counties in the fall and the spring. That's the direction I'd kind of look at.
And you kind of explained my next question is, what are you presenting in these meetings? So that sounds like it draws them in. I guess my experience is that whatever we send to the superintendent's office, and I may have talked to you about this, that if we just converse with the superintendent and not the counselors in those schools, you do it to the superintendent, it doesn't seem like it gets out in my district up there. Now, it seems like it's changed in the last 6 or 8 months, because this lady handles our education department. She's had some inroads there in J. I'm just wondering what kind of information you were given at these superintendent's meetings. I'd like to see more at these meetings is more Cherokee involvement in it as far as what we're offering to our kids. But I'm not sure it's getting to our kids in our school systems.
Mine's very simple.
We give quite a bit of money to each school district in here. So I think we have a little leverage of what we want to get out to our kids and see more action from our kids from what we have to offer to Cherokee Nation. Like those ACT tests that she was doing. A year ago, we didn't have anybody from Jay that's taken them. I see this year we've had over 100 kids that take it. And those are important, to do the practice test and then actually go in and do them. So I don't know how you'd change it. Superintendents, they kind of, you were superintendents, so they kind of have a mind of their own how they want to run their schools. But still, I think, they need to know what we're offering.
Yeah.
And hopefully they pass it on down to their counselors. Whoever, and I've found out the counselors probably are more put the message out than the superintendent.
Right.
Superintendent's got so much on his plate that just can't handle it all sometimes.
Well,
But anyway, you answered my question.
Okay, we'll have to consider that. And then another thing that she's doing, for teachers here, and this is brand new, the third year of it, is they will have a professional workshop at the conclusion of the school year, right at first part of June. And the first year, there were like 60 teachers, she explained to me, that came in and attended this workshop, and they have room for 200. Well, last year, the word got out, and they had 170. And so I know this year, we'll fill it up. I'm a firm believer in that. And
They're
that's,
getting some pretty good prizes away too, aren't they?
yeah, they are doing that. They sure are. You can, take care of your classroom if you write a pretty good grant. So, and that's got to be in by Friday, the 15th of April.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Ron, did you say that you guys got the school grants back up?
David, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Did you guys say you got the school grants going again? The school grants?
The school grants,
Jennifer?
The TOS meeting, if they participate in that, then they've got an opportunity to write for some STEM
I see what
STEM
you're saying.
supplies in their classroom. So, but that's a little bit different than I think the ones that you're talking about. They're still working on getting those developed.
Are they? Okay. Any other questions for Ron or Jennifer?
Good report.
Good report, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you. Now down to Sequoia High. Oh, actually, we got Ms. Furnace here from Head Start. Ms. Furnace, come on down. Bring your leadership class with you.
I brought some company with me today. I brought some coworkers here who are the faces of enrollment and recruitment. They have some applications for you, and I'll ask them to give their little tidbit about what they're doing.
Okay.
Chad? They've already been to one community meeting last week in Tahlequah. I think they are scheduled tomorrow for prior. So go ahead. Y'all tell your little tidbit.
Okay. Well, the three of us are very excited to take on the enrollment piece of the early childhood unit. Joseph and I both are products of Head Start, and Mary Lee is actually a former Head Start parent. So we take this very serious. It's a big deal to us to see our program succeed. Our goal is to have 100% enrollment on August the 8th with 680 Head Start children and 200 early Head Start. So what you have in your hands is a recruitment packet of sorts that contains enrollment applications for our program, our enrollment criteria, and our contact information. So if you have anyone who has any questions, you can refer them to us, and we can help to answer any questions that they have about our program.
I really appreciate their enthusiasm. As you walk in the door at Head Start, they are the first faces you see, and their nameplate even says Directors of First Impression. So they're all excited and ready to go. But they would point to the box on the blue page. Everything has to be submitted with that application or it just sits. So when you have parents wondering, why haven't I been enrolled yet? And it is income eligibility criteria, and not very high. Some folks think if you qualify for WIC, you automatically qualify for Head Start. You don't. It's even lower, and that's a congressional change if ever it happens, and I don't think it will. So that limits who all can get in, but we do have the opportunity to enroll up to 49% over income, but we try not to because it's income eligible first. And let's see if they have a new tracking system that they're using that will track all of our children in the various counties, and it'll just do whatever you want it to do, and we'll launch that software in August probably. Okay. Do y'all have any questions, or do y'all want to add anything else to it?
Please get the enrollment apps out.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Taylor.
I just have a comment for you. I'm good friends with some people who actually got custody of a great grandchild, and she is in the early Head Start program at Salina. And because of their age and everything, that has been a godsend for them, just because they can't provide that socialization that younger families can, because they don't know people with 3-year-old kids. And so they're just always very complimentary of the program and everything that it has offered their babies. So I appreciate you.
Thank you for saying that. Head Start was the greatest program the federal government could have started, and then early Head Start behind it is just a godsend. Yeah.
Well, get out there and recruit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Explains a lot.
All right. School at high school. We got Mr. Leroy Qualls, Superintendent.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Chair. I enjoy listening to other reports. I tuned in on Mr. Buzzard's question there. One thing that we did at the high school level was start a monthly newsletter that the counselor put out to the kids to let them know about upcoming events. I got that idea. Well, my last year at Tahlequah Public Schools, I did a monthly calendar for the students. And in August, when we started school, we would meet a couple of weeks into school And I made sure that they brought their folder because the monthly calendar, fit inside a folder, which we got from JOM, stuck it in their packet or their pocket there. And that way they knew everything that happened every month of the school year, including the last day to sign up for ACT for October, including, some people don't know, but you can go ahead and sign up after the deadline for ACT. You'll have to pay a late fee, which is usually about $10. But take that year-round. Some people don't know, but you can take an ACT in June after you graduate. I had one kid that did that and wound up in college. So that was a very informative monthly calendar that those kids could look at, including when to get recommendation letters, find your 3 teachers or 3 faculty members by this date, and by this date have your letters ready, turn them in, give them a little bit of guidance as you go, if you would. But that was just my deal, and I enjoyed helping our kids get prepared. Felt like they had a better chance to succeed. You got 2 more handouts today. That I asked Shelley if she wanted me to hand them out, and I'm glad that she did, because I'd feel like back in the old days, give out a test, leave them face down until I tell you to turn them over. But if you look at the 2-pager that you got on the Oklahoma Native Youth Language, there's Oklahoma Language Fair. Our immersion kids were incredible. They went up and you can look at all the places of the kids that placed for each grade. We had 9 first place finishes. We had 6 second place finishes and 3 third place finishes, which is, that's an outstanding day for our Cherokee immersion kids at the language fair. One other thing about our immersion, and I had this in last month's report, but our immersion kids' 6th grade team finished 3rd in the state in the robotics competition. They missed the world competition by 2 points. They started in January. It's not like they've been doing this for 2 or 3 years. The first time they ever did this was in the after-school program in January. So our coach, who is Vicki Bangle, did a great job with those kids, and you're talking about creating interest. Those kids are spot on. And I feel like that's not just for Sequoia or immersion. I feel like our local schools and our 14-county area schools are getting into robotics. It's quite expensive. That's the only drawback, but it really gets into a lot of things that'll benefit them in science and things farther down the road. The other supplemental sheet that you got was high school, and pretty proud of our kids. Safe Drywater, Caitlin Morton, and Brettley Crawford qualified for state tournament in speech and debate. I think that's a first for us, and that's why I mention that and mention it first. Kids did a wonderful job. Again, our robotics team won a state championship. Basketball did not this year. Good news and bad news. We got our best player hurt. She tore her knee up. She did not play one play this year. But the girls that came back put together a team effort. If you'd seen them play early in the year, you'd think there's no way they're going to get state, but they made it. And that's a tribute to the coaching staff and the girls for pulling together. If you saw the NCAA finals, Villanova and UNC, UNC probably had the best athletes. Villanova had the best team, so they won it. That's what that kind of reminds me of. Girls didn't win it, but they played the #1 team in the state first and led up into the 4th quarter and lost by 4 points. Great showing. No state championship, but our robotics team got there. We had some visitors down to look at the robotics classroom. The building's 86 years old, and I took the BIE and the BIA representatives at 2 different occasions by there to look at it, and I'm amazed that they know where everything is at. If you can imagine all the stuff that you use to put into robotics, and there's a place in the ceiling where they cut out a portion of the ceiling to be able to extend the robots up a little bit higher. So they've compensated, And they go to the World Robotics Competition April the 17th in Louisville. Very proud of those kids. State powerlifting won a state championship. Several of our kids got state runner-up. Justin Hooper had won state 2 years in a row. This year, he went up above his head a weight class and came in as runner-up, which, you know, that says a lot for him. He just thought he could do it. And this kid that won the upper class set some state records. So very good showing for a powerlifting team. Now, I put this on there for a reason. Our football stadium construction people gave us a deadline that they're going to be finished with our stadium May 31st. And we're excited about that. There was a bunch of people up there today working on it, and we're excited to see that move. And the dorms are near completion, and they really are looking great. We've had shower problems all year with all the transitions that the kids have had to make, and now they've got new showers in the dorms. And we hope we can get our count up next year. To show you how busy March was for us as a school, a 3A school, we had 73 trips that were scheduled, and our transportation department made sure everybody got where they needed to go. 73 trips in 30 days. Pretty amazing. A little bit of information on student applications. If anyone asks you, you can tell them to look on the school website. Deadline is May 1st. Notification letters go out around June the 1st. One good thing, and this kind of ties into an audit that we had last week by the BIE. They were at our place for 2 days, and I looked at the report before I came down. As of right now, we're on target for 0 dropouts again this year. We had it last year. I don't know if you know about Obama's initiative that he did as far as Native American schools. They did a study in 2014. They researched and discovered that 53% of Native Americans graduate from high school. Okay, that kind of sounds good, but think of the negative side. How many did not? And I'm telling you, it is a challenge. It's not easy. We use every resource that we can. And if you can imagine what goes on in young people's lives nowadays, and I'm just tickled that we're able to keep our kids engaged. I mean, I've gone through this for many years, not just the last 2 years. It's tough. That's a challenge. And knock on wood, I hope we can finish this year out with 0 dropouts. Last Saturday, we hosted ACT testing. We used to do that. We're getting back to doing that. I think that's a good thing for our school. Getting over to the athletic side, our softball girls are rated #1 in the state right now. I think they'll be a force to be reckoned with when the playoffs start. I know that we have Locust Grove next in the district tournament at our place. They haven't determined a date yet. Baseball's doing very well, better than they've done in many years. They've beat a couple of ranked teams. We're not rated yet, but you've got to earn your stripes, so to speak. Headed in the right direction. And things that you don't hear about, we're in state testing. You know, we got state testing and we got end of instruction tests pretty much from this week till almost school gets out. And guess what we do at Sequoia when we come back our first week of August? We have BIE testing. NWEA, map testing. So we kind of get hit from each direction here. Really, it makes me even more proud of our teachers and staff and our kids for getting through this and doing so well. I'm anxiously awaiting to hear about our 9 Gates semifinalists. Our finalists, word should be coming down within a week on how we did there. And I put that in there about the prom. You don't hear about that very often. But everything went off without a hitch, and it was a safe prom. It wasn't on our campus. It was at Three Forks over by Muskogee, and everything went really well. Really proud of the kids and their behavior. And I'm really happy with our sponsors that did such a great job getting that set up to make sure our kids were safe. Now, getting back to the audit last week, it was a gifted and talented audit that the BIE done. We had 87 that were certified, which is pretty good out of 363. Pretty good percentage. Two comments. One made, Ms. Poolaw, who's been doing this audit for years, she commented, said, you guys have got one of the flagship schools in the BIE of the 183. And we kind of heard that from Dr. Russell when he was down, but it was good hearing that from her when she had spent 2 days on our campus interviewing teachers. She actually evaluated and assessed a couple of different teachers and went through our records and just the overall climate of the school. And the second comment was the gentleman that was with her, that was helping with the audit, said that, you know, they live out of state. He said, we're out of state, but I told my son last year how good a school this was and gave him the option of coming here. But he chose to stay home, close to home, and understandably so. And let's not forget about the State Department of Oklahoma Education. The RAO will be at our place April 21st to do an accreditation visit to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And that's pretty much all of my report. That was all the add-ons. If you had any questions about the one that you previously had, you can see I marked it up pretty good. I reported at the 5 tribes and really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the 5 tribes intertribal last week. Very informative.
Good
Thank
report, Mr. Qualls. Any
Thank you.
questions? Seeing none, good job.
Thank you.
Chief, you got anything to say?
Yeah, we're good. I was gonna say, was the prom safe and nice back when walking stick? No, disregard that question. We'll go ahead.
I can't divulge that.
Okay.
All right, from the foundation, Janice Randall.
Good afternoon. You have my report, and I really don't have a lot to add, although on the ACT prep and testing strategies, I will say when I started here 3 years ago, we served about 500 students, and this year we've served almost 5,000 students.
Wow.
And I have really tried to put the word out there, and you guys have helped me so much because I emailed superintendents and counselors. I've called them if I didn't hear back. I invited myself to, Brian and I we started with Sequoyah County, went to the superintendent's meeting there. Every single one of them were there, and we told what we have to offer. I went to Tahlequah's, Cherokee counties, every single one was there, and so I just decided I'm going down the list. If I don't hear back from them, then I'm just gonna go get on the agenda and present, and they were very welcoming. And I know that, like Adair County, Stillwell is not on here because they still have Gear Up. And they do know our programs, but they said when that money runs out, they'd be calling us. So some people didn't participate for that reason. But I know a lot of you have reached out to your schools and said, why aren't you taking advantage of this? And that got their attention, and they called me back. So, but we just finished our scholarships. The deadline was January 31st. And the winners, we have very, very competitive. We had 257 applicants for about 8 scholarships. And so they were each read by at least 2 people and scored, and then they're going to go to the newspapers this week. And the other thing that is very important that you get out to your communities, our flyers weren't ready. I was going to try to bring them today, but they had a mistake on them, so we had to send them back. But on the second page, our ACT prep camp, which starts June the 6th at Northeastern. And it's for this year's sophomores and juniors. And it's if they want a higher score in their ACT prep. We go through it one by one. And we only take 40 students from anywhere. We have people fly in from Texas, California. I mean, we have a lot of participation and a lot of people that want that part. And then in July 17th, we'll be on the campus at Rogers State. And that's when the college admissions officers come to us. OU, OSU, Rogers, University of Arkansas, Stanford, Dartmouth. We've invited, we don't even know who all's coming, we've invited a lot, and the students get to meet them, get to find out what programs they offered. This past month, we did take, this is the very first time ever that Tahlequah School, with the biggest population of Cherokees, got to go tour CMB. And living in Tahlequah, they think this is all there is to Cherokee Nation. They know all about, they come out here to get stuff, to get scholarships, to get money when they're younger from, for their shoes or whatever. And they know the services, but they had no idea, and these were juniors and seniors, and they have no idea that CMB has businesses in 50 states, in Puerto Rico and Guam. They had no idea it brings in $1.5 billion. And so you could just see the excitement, and they've lived here their whole lives, and they never really connected and getting to see the big picture and options for their life and jobs for the future. So that was really fun. So do you have any questions for me?
Councilwoman Vasquez?
Yes, thank you. Janice, would you remind me again about the deadline on that matching $5,000? Is it
June.
to the end of May?
Yes.
I have till the end of the May to get the money? Okay, thank you.
And Jane just asked me about that at lunch.
Yeah, she's going to help me.
How's that program going, Janice?
It's going real well. And Wanda just said that she and Jack may decide to do that so they get matching this year. Because we will, they have till June 1st, and what we're gonna do is try to keep it in there a year and let it earn a little bit of interest, and then in August of 2017 would be the first money going out.
Okay. Well, all right, well, good report, Janice.
Thank you.
I actually got one comment.
Hey, Janice, did
Oh,
they-
I
did
had
we
one more
res-
thing.
Did we resolve the situation of you being on our route, on our emails for our community meetings? 'Cause we missed you the other night, and I knew something had to be up that you were.
Well, I rely on Canaan for community meetings.
Okay.
I rely on Mark Vance to give me information about
Are
JOM.
you sure you want to stay with that route?
No, I mean, I want to be everywhere and I want to do everything, but really, I mean, I'm calling, and at Intertribal, the Chickasaws and the Choctaws, which I had known them previously, the Chickasaw girl, she called and she goes, "Why aren't you in Intertribal? We were going to have a meeting of the foundations." And she said, "The Cherokees are hosting it." It's embarrassing to say, I didn't know anything about it. And
We appreciate it.
because they are they're different, they're under it, but, I mean, I want to be everywhere and I want to do everything, and so if I'm not there, I don't know about it.
Yeah, well, these numbers are good on the testing, and we appreciate what you do, and I know the schools appreciate you.
But I would like I would like to be on the Cherokee.org, I would like to, in bride
Get with
shape.
Gail, and she'll put you on
Oh, Gail will do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
that. So you're
take
depending
her.
on guys. Yeah,
Oh,
different.
that's right.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janice. All right, old business, none pending, new business, any announcements? Seeing none, make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, motion, second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.